This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
All right, Cam, you hear me there? You good?
Yeah,
All right.
I did, man. I don't know what was going on. It sounded like he was coming over as like a robot. I
Well,
could not hear it.
Video is heavier, bro. When you're out where you're at right now, it's harder for it to be clean. All right, so is the Wolfpack giving the Miami Dolphins an A so far for this offseason?
Oh, absolutely. I think we talked about this last week, Big O, right? We were waiting for their big splashes. They made a few different good, solid splashes. But, boy, Teron Armstead and Tyreek Hill, how much bigger splashes can you make to fix that offense, to build around Tua? Absolutely an A. I think they've had the best offseason of any team so far, in my opinion. So, you don't win any Super Bowls in March.
Nope.
But they have they've definitely won the court of public opinion of improving their roster around their quarterback.
All right, so what's the craziness now that they guaranteed some more money for Jones so they can free up more cap space. Meanwhile, X has not gotten any money, and X wants to get paid. And I can't imagine this is sitting well with X, that they continue to add players and new players are getting money, and he's sitting there going, how about me? But so far, they've been quiet on that front. What do you hear?
Yeah, absolutely. X certainly wants to get paid. I actually talked to him right after the Tyreek Hill deal got done, and he said, yeah, it's crazy, but also they got to take care of me. So I know that that's something that's a priority for him. Chris Greer is going on record saying he's going to do it, but as of now, there hasn't been significant progress towards a deal at this point. So maybe that's the next big step, because I do believe that if X doesn't get a new deal, it'll be like last year where he wants to sit out in camp and possibly request a trade. So I don't think that this is going to be a situation that goes away without a new deal. But as of now, there's no deal imminent from what I've heard.
All right, so if there's no deal imminent, they're freeing up space. People are talking about the Honey Badger, maybe Treader at center. There's even that crazy Tom Brady story, which I'm not believing whatsoever. But as for Treader or the Honey Badger, is there any truth to maybe freeing up money for them? Are they done? Do you think there's still another big move left for the Miami Dolphins?
Yeah, I mean, the Tyreek Hill deal came out of nowhere, so I can't say they're done. I can't be completely on that spectrum, but I do know they were over the cap after they made the move for Tyreek Hill. So the Jones restructure, more than anything, was to get them cap compliant and have them a little bit of flexibility. They're in a situation where they still have some moves they can make if they wanted to make another big splash. But I don't think Treader's on their radar from what I had heard about a day or two ago. I hadn't heard much at all on Honey Badger, but obviously he would be a huge addition. I think for them, I'd expect to see probably their two biggest splashes of free agency, the free agency period, Teron Armstead and Tyreek Hill.
So Cam Wolfe, of course, joining us here with our KSDT Miami Dolphins and NFL report. Cam, Devontae Parker, brother, I saw where Barry Jackson wrote that Devontae Parker could be available, and even the Eagles might be interested because they need to pair somebody with Devonta Smith. But first of all, I'm shocked because I'm shocked that somebody would even trade for Parker. And second, what are you hearing? Is because if I'm the Dolphins, dude, this is a way I want to start recouping some of those picks. I'd move that guy in a heartbeat at this point.
Yeah, Big O. I had actually heard getting back to Indianapolis a couple of weeks ago that Devontae Parker was available for the right price. Now, I don't think Dolphins fans should get super excited because I don't think that right price is going to be some big pick. I think he's probably more of a day 3 pick if he ends up getting traded, 4th or 5th round pick, something in that range. So it's just whether or not they value him more than a 5th round pick. He's actually got a really affordable salary for a receiver given his contribution. So he's set to make $6 million, $6.5 million this year, and it's non-guaranteed. So I definitely think they could get get a day 3 pick with them on a trade, and I'd expect them to definitely shop those offers. When you look at what they did in the receiving group this offseason, Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Cedric Wilson, you pencil in your number 3 receivers. Are you going to pay Devontae Parker $6.5 million to be a number 4? I just don't see that as their likely path. And Cedric Wilson's making 6.5 too, so I don't see him being a number 4. So I think something has to give, and a trade makes a lot of sense there. Just don't be expecting the world as far as compensation. I still think it'd be in the day 3 category if they do get a trade off.
Yeah, and to me, the other thing when you make this move, once you start getting to your 4th and 5th wide receivers, they need to be flyers and returners and things like that. And now that Parker's going to end up falling down on the totem pole, he doesn't give you any of that on special teams. So it also becomes a liability for a coach too, because you kind of need roster flexibility as you go deeper into that position.
Now, that's an excellent point. I was actually talking to one of the Dolphins coaches about that a couple weeks ago, and he brought up the point that over the last couple of years, they've not had offensive contributors outside of Matt Collins consistently contribute on special teams. And that's hurt them as a team because they've been limited, and all their defensive players have been taxed on special teams. So I think you'll see that be a priority here. You'll see, whoever they bring in the draft as far as the running back position, I bet they'll play special teams. I think that you'll see them add a receiver or two. If they do, it's going to be guys who can contribute in that realm. So Cedric Wilson isn't going to be a special teams contributor. Devontae Parker's not. So, yes, I think that we talked about more additions. I think you'll see them filling out some positions and thinking more who can help in special teams, who can help fill out our roster versus who can be this big star splash.
Cam, besides Parker and X, let's say, because I would imagine that X also could be tradable, who's the other piece that they could move to try to get or recoup back, some kind of a pick, since they gave up so much in the Tyreek Hill deal?
Yeah, I keep an eye on Eric Rowe. He's a veteran safety there. He's been, a big key of what Brian Flores is building there, but Flo is gone now, and they got 2 really young safeties and Brandon Jones and Javon Holland, who I'd expect to be starters coming up this previous year. So I see him as an option to be traded or cut, if they still need more cap space. So he would probably be the first name that popped out to me. And then change of scenery guys. When you have a new staff and guys they didn't draft or great options for change of scenery, whether it's a guy like a Noah Igbinoghene, if they feel like they wanted to move on for him, or if it didn't work out with Austin Jackson in training camp and they felt like they could get value trading him somewhere else, I could see some of those former first-round picks who haven't worked out being guys too. So those are probably the most immediate things, a veteran like Eric Rowe or a first-round pick who hasn't really shown fruition yet.
Some people are saying Gesicki. Would you say Gesicki is a guy that could be moved since he's been tagged?
I definitely think that Gesicki's on a 1-year deal. I don't see them going a long-term extension. So if they got the right value for him, certainly. That situation is interesting because we talked about this earlier on the show. Gesicki is a guy who is a receiver first. So if you're bringing in a Tyreek Hill, you're bringing in a Jalen Waddle, you have a Cedric Wilson, how are all these guys going to fit on the field at once? That's a Mike McDaniel issue, but also who's going to be the blocker in this situation, right? And so that's not the sexy thing to think about, but in a San Fran-centric offense, you got to be able to block the running game well. So I think that's a worthy question. I haven't heard anything as far as Mike Gesicki trade rumblings, but as we go into all season, it wouldn't shock me if they get calls about it or if they decide to consider it.
That's that would be one that could be very, very interesting. All right. What are the chances X is not here? Put a percentage on it when the offseason is over. Does X get traded? Because that's the one guy they can trade to recoup a bunch of those Tyreek Hill picks back.
Yeah, I think it's all dependent on his contract. If they're willing to give him what he wants, he absolutely wants to stay here and he will stay here. If they don't, then that's when the trade comes up. So as of now, there hasn't been any talks there. So you still got to have it as a chance, maybe a 20% chance that he's not here. I still think they prioritize him being here. He wants to be here. But as you see some of his numbers come up, you saw what happened with Tyreek Hill. The Chiefs wanted him there, but they wanted to pay him closer to $20 million. The Dolphins were willing to pay him closer to $30 million. And sometimes it's as simple as that. So if X and his agent figured out a team is willing to pay him much more than the Dolphins are, then I could see him trying to push for a trade to that team just like Tyreek did. So as of now, I'd still say it's more likely than not that he's a Dolphin, but maybe 20-25% chance that they can't get that deal done.
Let's see what ends up happening. All right. As always, Cam, appreciate you taking some time. Follow him on Twitter at Cameron Wolfe. Catch his work there at the NFL Network. We will catch up with you next week, my friend. Thank you.
Absolutely. Appreciate you, Big O.
You got it. There you go. Cameron Wolfe, baby, with our KSDT Miami Dolphins report.
This is
This is the Big O Show.